Testing, 1 2 1 2, testing. And we are live. What is up, everyone? How's it going? Minute 30 into the stream. The lobby is done. We have exactly 0 viewers accumulated, but that's okay. It's actually kind of a big day for this channel because this is exactly my 52nd week in a row posting a video or making a live, which was kind of the goal that I set for this channel when coming back last November. I believe it was like the day before election day when I came back and posted that video. And now it's about a year into it, which is super exciting. I'm thinking about making some sort of recap video or just some reflection video next week potentially, just to kind of, I don't know, think about where we've come. And honestly, it's a very different sort of ethos from the channel that I was running before. Obviously, just the fact that it changed from a objectivist channel or very politics focused channel to more of a Christianity theology channel definitely made a big difference. And you can definitely see that in the sort of content being posted. But also, I think the channel has become a lot more serious, I guess, in a certain sense, like taking the ideas that I'm talking about very seriously, scripting everything out more, also doing a lot more like math lecture content, which is kind of the direction I wanted to take things. I felt that the very political drama, news-oriented direction that I was taking the channel, it's fine. I mean, a lot of people do it, but it's really not the type of thing that I was interested in, which is why, honestly, I stopped posting for a long time. But there's a part of me that wants to move into sort of a less scripted realm again, just sort of talking off the cuff a little bit more, which is kind of why I started doing the live streams again. But yeah, I think I feel good about where this channel's at, slowly gaining viewers. Obviously, it's very small. Very little engagement at this point in time, but that's fine. I think that bothered me a lot more back when I was starting to post again on this channel, and getting a lot of the argumentative comments after a lot of the Christian stuff I posted, getting to those debates there, and then certain videos just absolutely flopping. I think a lot of this is more for my own ability to start putting myself out there and presenting again. And that's kind of the big struggle in my life, which is going out, presenting my ideas, and having sort of that confidence to put something together, and I guess not even just the confidence, like taking that time to put something together and put it out to the world. It's so easy sort of in this new information age to kind of just scroll through, watch videos passively, and sort of passively absorb all this information, but you never really learn it or understand it until you start actually creating something with it, which I think is kind of the crucial role in my life that this channel has sort of filled. Yeah, so I think that's been very important. Good opportunity for me to just develop my ideas, continue to explain things, and just really get out there and put things together. And in the process, I feel like I've learned a lot about Christianity. I've learned a lot about just researching for the videos, trying to put something together, helped me to really formalize different thoughts and opinions that I was starting to form about Christianity. One thing that I wish there was more feedback on some of this stuff. The hard part is a lot of the like more Christian theology centered videos don't get as much engagement as the ones where I'm like very confrontational, very aggressively attacking like a certain ideology or set of ideologies or something. So those ones tend to get more engagement, but it's a lot of times just from people who don't agree. So obviously they're going to have their own perspectives and things to say on those individual topics. But it would be nice to get feedback from fellow Christians who have been doing this for longer than me, and it's been difficult to get that feedback, to say the least. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why that is, but I think that comes with time as well. I think as my channel grows, I'll sort of start to get more of that sort of feedback, and I think that would be helpful. It helps my intellectual growth, kind of doing this, putting stuff together, and it's encouraged me to read a little bit more as well. I guess over the past couple years, I've been trying to slog through long novels and trying to get through things. Actually, for like the past like year and a half, I've been trying to work on Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov, and that book is a slog. I mean, it takes like a good, like, if I take the book, pick it, open it up, it takes me a good like 5 to 10 minutes just to like kind of remember where I'm at and just kind of remember everything that's going on, and then I can really get into the flow state. So I found lately that just trying to incorporate other books into the mix as well. So like I'm reading Mere Christianity alongside Brothers Karamazov, which has taken me a long time to get through. But reading that has been a lot quicker. Like I can get through a good like I could get through like a bunch of pages in a single day, just at work, step aside, go read a little bit, or just whenever I have free time, I can take like 15 minutes and get through like 10 pages potentially, which is very different from some of the other like longer books that I was trying to read. So I think this new approach of having sort of simpler books alongside these longer sort of magnum opuses for people, I think that sort of thing will be helpful going forward. And then it'll make the content better too. As I read more, as I put more information into my head, that should hopefully flow onto the pages of the scripts that I'm writing, and then flow through into the videos, into the actual content that I'm making. And then I guess also the math content's interesting because a lot of that is just stuff that I learned about in college, and I'm just kind of looking back through notes and seeing stuff there, and that's been it's less of a learning process for me. It's sort of more of a review process, looking back at old ideas, which is helpful as well. But yeah. I don't know. I'm also glad that I chose today as the day to make the stream, because I've had a little sinus infection for over the past weekend, so just struggling a lot lately with like headaches and just nose pain and stuff like that. So that's a bit of a struggle right now, and still definitely feeling it a little bit. So that might come in waves throughout the video, throughout the live stream, but we'll see. I feel okay right now, which is good. Just a little bit of nagging stuff right now. So I think we're okay. Still nothing in the chat yet. I saw a group of viewers pop in and pop out, but nothing quite yet. So hopefully we get a few people relatively soon. Otherwise, I mean, it might just be a quick stream where I sort of talk about what's on my mind a little bit, and maybe people will view it afterward. That's kind of the thing with the live streams. Like you just go on, talk for a little bit, and they're typically less viewed after the video gets posted than obviously the videos where the only time to view them is after they're posted, but they're fun when we get a few people in here. So yeah, trying to think what's something I've been thinking about lately. I guess one topic I've been spending some time thinking about quite a bit lately is the topic of AI. Just with that kind of being everywhere and pervading every aspect of our culture. People have so many different opinions about this topic. Some people thinking it's going to like take over the world and become extremely smart, and I don't know. I've not really seen that perspective coming to fruition, at least in the current state of AI. Like we need an entire wave pool full of water just to create a workout plan that says May has 32 months or 32 days within it. So it's very inefficient right now, and really what the sort of thing we're actually seeing with AI right now is not AI developing super quickly and taking over everyone's jobs and all that stuff. What we're actually seeing is the world is getting filled with slop. The on Instagram, which I've deleted like a few months ago, but on like Reels, for example, it's just filled with AI slop. YouTube videos full of just AI slop. Everyone's using AI to write everything. You see M dashes all over. I feel like the frequency of M dashes and stuff that's published on the internet or in emails has skyrocketed. And the M dash, by the way, is just like a common feature. AI loves using it. I think the data that it was trained off of, I forget the reason why, so don't quote me on this, but I think it was trained off of like newspaper articles, partially, and those use M dash as like a pretty common standard. So it really adopted the usage of the M dash, and that's everywhere in the stuff that AI writes. But it's also like not like on an initial glance, a lot of the stuff produced by AI, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like a brief cursory glance, like, okay, yeah, that might make sense. I could see where they're coming from, and it looks like normal English. It looks like everything's written right, and then you actually look into it and you start looking at like what's actually being said and trying to critically analyze the things that it's talking about. And a lot of times it says things that just don't make sense. Like it's trying to copy the way humans talk. It's form without function a lot of the times. Like it has the form of everything that we say, but there's not actually anything deeper there a lot of the times. And as a result, it's filling the internet with slop. I also heard about some, I think it was Deloitte, some company, they produced some, there's probably multiple companies where this is an example, but they produced some disclosure, and it was just riddled with errors, made up facts, made up statistics, and it's because they had AI write it and they didn't fact check anything. I know it's common in with like law firms too, like they'll cite cases that don't exist, which, yeah, I mean, it's really just it's filling the entire world with slop, and it is draining all of our resources to do so. So that's kind of the way that I'm seeing it right now. But I do think that there are social harms to this as well. I think as people start to become more and more reliant on AI, it's going to make us dumber because we're relying on that to think and make decisions for us. And as a result, I've tried to use AI as little as possible. I still do use it quite a bit. I like it's helpful for coming up with like Bible verses, for example. So that's where I'll try to use it for those videos. I'm like, oh, what's that one Bible verse where it says blah blah blah, and it'll spit it out and be like, oh yeah, it's this verse. Then I can go look and make sure like it makes sense in the context and do all that stuff. I try my hardest to be responsible when using it and not use it to generate ideas for me, rather to more as like like a search engine. That's where I think it can actually be helpful, because it can generate those search engine results very quickly and be a lot more tailored to your specific needs than an actual search engine. Whereas in search engines, you have to use the keywords and all that stuff. So that's where I do think it is helpful. But the fear is that people start using it to think for them, to really put together entire formulations or entire essays or entire videos for them, or entire sections of videos even for them. That's kind of where it becomes a bit scary, and I think that's becoming more and more common. You see more people using AI instead of therapy. One girl, it wrote a specific note for her because it can't actually go out and get the help that a therapist can. The ability to involuntarily commit somebody is a crucial tool for therapy to work in these sort of contexts. So that's one example, but people are starting to rely on it more and more. And the thing is, people treat it like it is this diviner of truth, or like the sage who knows everything that's going on and it's always going to tell you the truth. And it's just not, that's not the reality. The like AI is not very smart yet, and people will acknowledge that, but they don't, it's not as true in practice. And there are so many people who just do use it as is, and trust it, which I don't think we can do. And I think it's going to make us dumber. It's going to hurt our critical thinking abilities. It's going to hurt our ability as it starts replacing some of the menial day-to-day tasks in our jobs. People might struggle to write emails and to write out their thoughts and to write out analysis because they're giving AI sort of a vague idea, and then it can formulate it for you. A lot of the importance of being able to think, or a lot of intellectual development and a lot of true understanding of knowledge comes from the fact that we have to take these vague ideas and put them into very concrete, direct sentences and clear sentences. And that's what AI does well. It can take like a vague, unclear idea and make it a clear sentence. But the thing is, you don't actually understand that idea. And it's clarifying it, but it might not actually capture where you should be trying to go with your vague idea. You don't know what direction it's pushing you, I guess, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to think. Let me, where was I at with this? Yeah, so it's super crucial to be able to clearly state your own ideas. And I think AI harms our ability to do that, and as a result is harming our very ability to think. And then additionally, I think as a result, it's just making us dumber. I think it's going to, as a society, make us dumber in the way that the internet and social media already has to an extent. And yeah, the mental health implications too of all this stuff. But so there's that. I think it's going to make us dumber. But I think as we become dumber, we're going to view AI as more and more intelligent. We're going to start relying on it more and more and more. And that just, then there's the question of who's programming these things. What biases are they putting into these things? And this is already sort of an issue with social media and with like the direction rhetoric goes on social media. Oftentimes, I worry, is a function of what the people who run the social media think. And we can even see this very clearly in the shifts with once Elon took over Twitter, the different topics that are pervading everywhere over Twitter are completely different from the topics that were dominating Twitter even just 4 years ago. Now I'm not on Twitter, but I indirectly hear about the sort of stuff that's allowed through YouTube videos. I consume a lot of YouTube videos, but a lot of those are people in Twitter spaces talking about stuff. But the sort of things that are allowed on Twitter today and that sort of dominate the conversation today are completely different than they were back when I started YouTubing. Just the dominance of like left-wing people, communist people on that platform in the past, and the sort of censorship around certain social justice topics, around stuff like transgenderism and feminism and all that stuff, versus what we see today, which is like, it feels like from what I hear about it, it seems like there's a lot allowed on Twitter now. Like gripers seem to be very dominant on Twitter now. These sort of topics that are being discussed there, I don't know. It's like the way that like topics like Zionism are discussed on there and all that sort of stuff is very different than it was just a few years ago, and I wonder why that is. It seems like the people who are running these platforms have different incentives for what what they're trying to ban, what they're going to allow. And I think that impacts the way that we think about things and the way that political discourse is done online. I think a similar thing will happen with AI. The way an AI is programmed, the sort of things that it's allowed to talk about and sort of things that it's allowed to discuss and jokes it's allowed to make and things that it's allowed to formulate are going to very much impact the way that people think about things going forward. Like I remember during the beginning of when Google was adding like the AI to the top of their search engine results, it was trained off of Reddit data. It was trained off of Reddit responses. And what I found at that time, especially, I remember pointing this out to a few people. You go into Google and you type in a certain question or whatever, and what you get in response sound like the way that things are said and the way that things are written by that Google AI sounds like a Redditor. It's hard to explain if you don't know. We're all on the internet, so we understand. But maybe it's gotten better. I haven't really paid attention, but that was one of the first things that I noticed, that they talked like a Redditor. And you'll see actually if you go into if you like click through some of those links on the Google AI stuff, a lot of times the sources that it's linking to are Reddit itself. Or you'll scroll down and see what some of the sources are saying as well, what some of the search results are pulling up. And like the Reddit comments underneath someone asking the same question are like very comparable with the thing that the Google AI is saying. So I don't know. It's very, very interesting. And I don't know if AI could ever take over in that sense. And like, it seems to be more in a state where it's getting very good at mimicking us. But AI's ability to produce something truly original seems like it's not even the type of thing that it's programmed to do. Now, people will say there's potential for that, and there probably is, but I think a lot of it is just going to be conditioned on the stuff that it has learned from before, because the whole rules of the game for AI are defined by the things that were said in the past. It's a model to predict how a human being on the internet or in these articles or in whatever would respond to a certain question. Yeah. But okay, so that's my AI rant for the day. This hasn't really been much of a Q&A. Where is everyone? That's kind of crazy. No viewers so far. That's okay. I feel like the things that I've said so far have been hopefully helpful. I hope that there is a better understanding of everything going on after these topics. Let me see if I can find something else. I guess in my Discord today, I made a response to somebody who was asking me to do a video about Nick Fuentes, and I made a response to that person. Maybe I can talk about that a little bit. I feel like my channel, like on all these lives, everything is so tied to Nick at this point. It's very frustrating, but I think it makes sense given what my most popular videos are. But I'm really not in the same space as him on the internet. I make very different videos from what he makes at this point in time. I think in the past, when I was a much more political channel, it made sense for me to talk about Fuentes and to talk about his ideas because he was sort of this conservative antithesis to many of the things that I was trying to push at the time. But I think today, given that And I mean, he was like a popular opponent of ideals that I was pushing at the time. I think today, with my focus being on primarily on Christianity, with a focus on Protestant Christianity, he's not a major focus. He has this sort of Catholic viewpoint, but it's not a very well-informed Catholic viewpoint, in the sense that I think there are Catholics who understand the faith on the internet better than he does. And I mean, he's a political guy at the end of the day, so I wouldn't expect him to have this super in-depth knowledge of Catholicism. And it seems like he cares about his Catholic faith, but I don't think, like, he had a debate with Jay Dyer over Catholicism and Orthodoxy, and like it was night and day. Like the way that Nick performed in that debate versus the way that Jay performed in that debate, like they weren't even at the same level of conversation. Fuentes had a very low tier, as Dyer would say, not necessarily about him, but about anyone. The understanding of Catholicism and view of the faith, and just the sort of things that his fans focus on. Like, they like the aesthetic of Catholicism as this traditional Christianity, which it isn't even really at this point. There's so many tradcaths out there, but it's your own leadership that you defend and are supposed to follow hates you. They don't like the tradcasts. They do not believe that's not the direction the faith is going. And I mean, it's been clear for a long time at this point, especially with the last two popes, Francis and Leo. That's not the direction that Catholicism is going. So Fuentes likes, and his followers seem to like, this idea of being traditional Catholic and the Tradcath faith, and how that aligns with their Groyper movement, when it really doesn't. That's not a faith that aligns with, and the leadership of their faith, which is the central claim of Catholicism, is the authority of the Pope in Rome, the authority of the Bishop of Rome. It really doesn't align with their own perspectives on these issues. The focus there is inclusion and the fact that everyone can be saved. Everyone is, the Hindus worship God in their own way, and the Muslims are also worshipers of God, and they're the first place worshipers of God besides the Christians. So yeah, it's very different. But so, I mean, just to get back to the point, he has like a very surface level view of Catholicism, and just like this idea that like that is the traditional faith, and that's like the conservative faith, and I don't think that's very theologically informed about what the Catholic Church actually is. And I think the Groypers are also very theologically uninformed. So if I'm going to talk about Christianity and discuss Protestantism specifically, there's more useful people for me to learn from and more useful people for me to go to than people like Nick Fuentes. There's more interesting topics, there's more informative topics, there's more interesting people to cover. And that's not to say I'm the most well-developed person in my own understanding of faith and my own understanding of Christianity and religion, because I'm not. I'm new to this, and there's a lot of reading that I have to do. But the direction that I want to go in, and the direction that I want to move in, and the people that I want to cover, Nick Fuentes is not the direction that I want the channel to move in. He's not the type of Catholicism that I'm interested in discussing, the very political view where Catholicism is sort of a political instrument to get his final political goals achieved. I don't think that's just not what I'm interested in at this point in time. And as I said, the only thing I really get out of covering Fuentes is online drama, and that's not really the focus of this channel anymore. I don't care as much about engagement. Like, been sitting here for 30 minutes with 0 viewers. The goal of this channel is just to put out content and help me learn and develop my ideas and develop my expression of those ideas. Whether I get viewers or not is not really my concern anymore. And it really was back before when I was putting stuff on this channel. I think I had that concern, especially like when I started getting back into it. I was really checking my YouTube studio constantly, making sure that I was getting enough views on my videos. And now it's at a point where it doesn't really matter. It's not something I'm relying on for my income or anything like that. So yeah, as long as I can just keep putting videos out there and learn how to more clearly express my ideas, then I'm getting everything I need out of this channel. And once I start diving into baiting political drama, because I'm sure there's going to be times where I get into some drama just as this channel continues to develop, and if I continue to grow and end up garnering some sort of audience, then I'm sure stuff will come up and there will be stuff that I dive into. But right now, it's just about building up that base of content. Yeah. And I think part of that too, I'm a bit reluctant to get into debates at this point in time, just being newer to the faith, newer to discussing these ideas. I haven't been actively seeking out debates. I will have debates if people want to. I'm not opposed to it. But I do think that there's many people who I just wouldn't win a debate against. Many of the more experienced Christians online, people like Jay Dyer, I can watch some of his videos and come up with responses to him in my head at the time, even maybe writing stuff down. But the idea that me sitting in a room with him, this man with like decades of experience doing this stuff, and then I could win that debate somehow, that's if I believed that would be insane. There would be a level of arrogance there that I just don't think that someone could get through. Now, I do disagree, and I think one day maybe, as I continue to develop, continue to grow, learning more, reading more. And actually, that's crucial. That's something that I think we need to talk about a little bit more as well, is reading. Sorry, let me take a drink of water quick. I should probably set this aside too, just because it's like probably clinking right next to the microphone. But that's something we should talk about more as well. I think as social media's become more and more dominant, it's become harder and harder to make time to read, because our time is so invaded by social media, by these reels, by these videos. And being someone in Gen Z, I've been very much a victim of that experiment. Like, I struggle. My attention span has been significantly harmed by social media. I have all these books and ideas that I want to jump to and read and talk about and do all this stuff. But there's so many things that I really am just uninformed on. And the best way to truly learn about it is to just get a book, dive into it, and actually go and read it. And that, we've lost that. We're missing that so much. People are becoming dumber and dumber just because all the news we get is on X and Reddit, and all the stuff we read about is we'll just listen to it through YouTube videos. Audiobooks are becoming so dominant now. People have lost their ability to just sit down and read. They want to make everything a chance to multitask. Everyone wants to put in some audiobook and just listen to it as they're driving to work, or listen to it while they're working, or listen to it while they're doing chores. Like, I don't know, as a society, it feels like we need more time just to sit still and just focus on something and really think about something. And we're losing that. Everything has become such passive absorption of information. And I don't want to get into like a conspiratorial mindset, but what it does make us easier to control. It makes us easier to it makes it a lot easier for us to kind of just drift with the tides of culture, in whichever direction they move. And I'm sure I'm a victim of that to an extent as well. So much of the way I think is likely influenced by just the way the culture is moving. And that's, I mean, there's a lot to reflect on with that. But yeah, I think ultimately the escape is just getting away from this technology and reading, thinking for ourselves, getting away from screens. Man. Yeah. Sound like an old person now, but anti-AI, anti-screens. I'm a Luddite, guys. I'm trying to take us back to the Dark Ages. Reverse the Industrial Revolution. Kaczynski was right, guys. No, but I don't know. It's been 37 minutes here. No viewers, but I feel like there were good topics discussed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't really have much more to say for this video. Trying to think if there is much more. And honestly, at this point, like the sinus problems are there, but it's not bad enough to where I need to stop talking or need to take a break. But I feel like it might just be worth taking a nap at this point, especially just given like we're 40 minutes in, no viewers, and no questions. So I don't know. Either way, I mean, it was a good opportunity to get on and to discuss some ideas, discuss some thoughts. And honestly, I might do more of this sort of thing. I want to do more off the cuff stuff because to an extent I sort of miss that. Don't get me wrong, I like the opportunity to script something out, really think something through, but doing more off the cuff stuff I think will be very helpful for me going forward. But yeah, so I think that's everything that I have for this particular live stream. It's great to have made it a year though. A year of consistent content on this channel, which is crazy. I mean, for so long, I was just taking these like multi-year long breaks and thinking I'd get back to posting on this channel eventually, but never actually really putting the time aside. And every time that I would come back, I'd be like, we're back. Now I'm going to start posting again more consistently, more frequently. But I really wasn't. I just didn't post more consistently, didn't post more frequently. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's everything for today. I want to thank you all for watching, and feel free to go down below, join the Discord, go like the video, go subscribe, Patreon, all that stuff. But thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all